already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free. Laugh
All right. Here we go. So, welcome back. This is the last session. You guys are here. I'm here. We're all here, and we're going to make sure that you get the most out of it. So there's a number of things that we like to do at this particular point in the journey. If there's a question somehow that we have not answered, that you still have, type that in the chat at any particular moment. Also, want you to know, speaking of questions, you can do that 417-344-2274. Again, that's 417-344-2274. And I know that champions finish, and that's those who are here. That's you. You are that person. You identify as that person. Everything you do the best you can to make it happen. And you know what? Sometimes the best that you have done hasn't gotten the results that you've wanted. And now what we're doing is we're giving you an opportunity to join more champions who are out there building their passive income, their cash flow, if you will, using short-term rentals, leveraging that into the long-term stuff, because at the end of the day, building off of that stable foundation makes it work quite well. So again, if you've got a question, feel free to dial in 417-344-2274. We also, I wanted you to hear from one of the individuals that you've heard me mention this entire time. I definitely want him to share some of the experience that he has had, part of his transformation, but most importantly, what the process has been for him. When I say process, I know that some of you, depending on your current background and how you have earned money in the past, some of the things that maybe that I've said have gotten in the way a little bit, and that's okay. But at the same time, I know that you can change. You can become different. You can become more of what it is that you actually need to be in order to get to where you want to go. And this gentleman has done, well, he's done exactly that. Okay. Because he's been able to build his business. He's been able to continue to support his family, and son, definitely, with all the soccer and Lord knows all that stuff too. So I definitely want to make sure though that you guys get a chance to hear from him. So what I want you to do while you're thinking about more of the program, and as we get into understanding, again, there's a process to this. It does not happen instantly, but it does happen over time. So I want you to hear from Robert Vocola. Robert, you there?
Hey, what's going on, my man? How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm enjoying the sunshine.
Sunshine.
And the live streams.
Oh, where we
Soccer,
Sunshine,
training.
California. Got it. Sorry. It's been a long time since we've been outside, you know.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's all good. It's all good. So I know I didn't give you much time to prepare, but I didn't think you needed. Because of how you started, one of the unique things that I think a number of the people who are looking and considering and sitting there today going, wow, what is this exactly? Tell us, if you will, a little bit about the journey. Why leave corporate behind? More importantly, what was it that you saw that attracted, that got your attention? And has there been anything that you have found to be more true than what we've said thus far?
Yeah, a lot. Okay. Real quick, first thing, before I jump into that, I did see a comment on the live stream here. Someone's asking if you could turn Robert's voice up.
Yep, I did
I'm
that.
Loud, so.
Yeah, no, I got you. Believe me, bro, I got you right now. We're good.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, so talk a little bit about the journey. So background was I'm a career marketer, and college educated, got a degree in advertising, went into marketing. That was definitely a passion when I got into it. Worked for both large and small companies, multi-billion-dollar corporations, global corporations with 15,000 employees, all the way down to small pre-revenue startups. Love startups. Love working for technology companies, building something from nothing. But I'd say after about 12 years of doing that, and the latter of which, probably the last 3 of those years, I was working for myself, I just started kind of getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out of the process, and I was getting burnt out of just kind of feeling like, for lack of a better term, just a slave to the process. Always needing to execute and finding the next customer at the same time was pretty draining. I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a business owner, but I didn't really know what form that was going to take. I just knew that I come from a family of small business owners, all local service providers. So think plumbers, and fencers, and auto body companies, and tow truck companies, and so I knew I always kind of had that sense that I wanted to work for myself, make my own money, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know the process either, like how to actually get into it. I ended up growing up away from my family, so I wasn't actually in the mix of it. You know this, but most people don't. So I'll speak as if I'm speaking to everybody that, Jay and I have been good friends for a while, close to 20 years now. And the last few years before I started my short-term rental business, Jay and I would meet regularly for coffee. Most mornings we'd meet at Starbucks. We just worked out of Starbucks, basically.
Yes. And
when I started getting the inkling that I wanted to explore real estate investing and short-term rentals specifically, I knew that I wanted to learn from Jay, but I knew in general the way that most people learn from Jay, I couldn't afford. So I was a little sneaky about it. I figured I'm going to get mentored by Jay, and he's not even going to know about it. So I started just calling him up early in the mornings and asking him if he wanted to ride to Starbucks, knowing that it was a couple miles from his house. He'd have to walk otherwise. And so I started doing that, and we started quote unquote working together. And really what that meant was I was listening to all of his conversations. So I was listening, and I knew that every day, sometime between 11 and 12:30, that he was going to have some kind of meeting that he was going to want to take a break for and get up and leave Starbucks. And so whether that meeting was in Irvine or Long Beach or somewhere in Los Angeles, I often said, "Hey, you want to ride?" And he's like, "You're going to LA?" And I was basically like, no, not really. But I could use a break, and I'm not doing anything, and we can go for a ride. And I'd go up there just so I could listen to his phone calls on the way up there. And once we got there, I knew we were going to be talking to a landlord, a property owner, a property management company, and I wanted to hear the conversations he was having with these people, how he negotiated deals, how he looked at and evaluated buildings and properties and things of that nature. And I did that for, I don't even know how long. It's had to be about probably close to 6 months. And finally I said, I think I should try this out. And I started talking to Jay about numbers. I wanted to know, what it costs to get started with my first short-term rental, and what I could expect to cash flow, and, what the gross revenues would be and things of that nature. And I said to myself, you know what? If I just copy what he's doing, then I should be able to get the same results. And I'm a little prideful, and I came from that corporate background. So I actually said, I bet I could do it for less, and I bet I could make more money at it. I remember him telling me the first time, how much I should expect to spend to get the first one up. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll cut that down by 25% right off the bat. I was able to do that, by the way, and that's a trade secret. Maybe I'll tell you guys if you give me a call and get on my calendar. Yeah, so long story short, I started in August 2017. I raised capital for my first two, and I hosted my first customers in the middle of that month, and with only 15 days left in the month, I was able to make both apartments profit. So I came home to my wife the first week of September, and I told her, "Hey, honey, we're selling the house." And she freaked a little bit, and I just slowed everything down. And I said, "Listen, we've been blessed to have a property that's appreciated in value pretty quickly. We had owned it for about 5 years. We bought it near the bottom of the market, the market had just started improving, and it had just been skyrocketing for about 5 years. I probably made, I don't know, 16 to 20% a year on the property. But I couldn't leverage that equity. And so I told my wife, I said, we're sitting on a huge opportunity, a pile of cash that it's only theoretical in nature unless I'm actually able to access it. And the only way to access it at the levels we need in order to expand the business is to sell the house. So we sold the house. That's what we did. And we used the proceeds to put up our next 6 rentals. And we went basically from 0 rentals to 8 rentals from August 2017 to November 2017. And then we're currently sitting at 25 bedrooms under management in Southern California. I have used other people's money all along the way to do that. We cash flow easily 50% over, 25 to 50% over what my last salary was. And that's after taxes. And, you know, Jay, if he hasn't talked about it already, we'll talk about the different phases that short-term rental operators go through or entrepreneurs go through. We're definitely in phase 3, which means I not only have all of my systems set up within my business to where I don't have to be involved if I don't want to. The other people are running the business. And not only are we making enough money to live on a month-to-month basis, but we're making more than enough money to invest in other assets and have money left over to do the things like the family vacations and the club soccer and specialized training for my son. And so, you know, all in all, the biggest, I would say all of my expectations have been met from a financial standpoint. What I underestimated that has been a huge blessing is the freedom to pave my own way, to create the goals that I want to accomplish and go after them, to have the freedom to spend time doing whatever it is I want to do. And I think a lot of it has to do with not just saying, oh, how do you build a short-term rental business? But a lot of it has come also through learning about entrepreneurship and becoming a different person through this journey. So, you know, this August will be 3 full years. And I think Jay can probably give you guys some more information. I would love to hear from you, Jay, and what you think about this, but I feel like I'm a radically different person than I was 3 years ago. And I'm thinking more in lines today of empires. you know, it's like I feel like I have a different business idea every few weeks that is tangible that I could go after. I think one of my biggest goals. So I had several goals when I started. The first one I called Stop the Bleeding. Stop the Bleeding was all about, you know, we were spending, I think, close to $8,000 more per month than I was actually making in my previous business. And so the first goal was Stop the Bleeding, and I was able to accomplish that with the 8 rentals. The next goal was replace my wife's salary. So if she wanted to stop her teaching job, she had the freedom to do that. I don't think she'll ever quit because she loves teaching, and she loves what she does and the capacity that she does it. But I just wanted her to have that option. The third was about creating a legacy for not just my children, but my children's children. And I think that not only am I on the path to accomplishing that, but what that actually looks like is so radically different than what I could have imagined 3 years ago, that I'm truly thinking in terms of multiple businesses, land, property, other financial assets. That was just not a reality for my family 3 years ago. So hope that answers your question.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And yes, you are different, to say the least. Didn't know that you were secretly trying to get me to help you there. That's pretty funny. I like it. He's like, I'm just going to pick it.
You finally found out. I've told that story actually to about 30 or 40 people right now, other CashFlowDiary students that I've helped come into the system. But I'm like, I've never told Jay this, so now you know.
Yeah, so just so you know, guys, that's not going to work for you because you're not anywhere near. There's this whole social distancing thing, so you're going to have to go through the roadmap. I'm sorry. It is what it is, but You know, at the end of the day, what I'm hoping you're hearing is the process. So Rob, when it comes down to it, it hasn't been overnight. It hasn't been without incident. It hasn't been without worry. So tell them a little bit about some of those freak out moments.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, pick one. Just,
oh wow, some of them. Okay, I would say okay. So my first winter, my first November, guys. I call it Jay freaking out, almost crying, like on the verge. I told him like I don't understand this model. Like I don't understand how I could be making this much money with 8 units, and yet I can't see how I'm going to be able to pay all the vendors and pay myself this month. That was my first slow season, quote unquote. And I remember him being like, "Just Rob, just chill. Let's look at your pricing. Let's look where it's at. Let's see how we can adjust it, and just breathe. You're going to get through this." And of course I got through it. And then that March, it was like, boom. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. Like the prices I was getting at least 30% over what I was getting in that November. And then by the end of the busy season again, which was, fast forward another 6 months, my brain was seasoned emotionally to understand how to basically make it through that time without being in emotional freakout mode. And what it really comes down to is planning and the systems. So have you talked about man, we've been so busy the last few days. Have you talked about Profit First?
Not as much, not in great detail. No, I haven't.
Got it. So I won't go in great detail, but having the knowledge of systems like Profit First, understanding pricing methodologies and tools, knowing how to forecast and plan, and different things of that nature, being able to attract the right type of guests for the right length of time at the right price, has put me in a position to be successful so that, I'm no longer thinking about, how do I get to 10 units? How do I get to 20 units? Now I'm thinking about how do I get to 100 bedrooms? And how do I get to a point where once I'm at 100 bedrooms, then I could attract money from any source that I want in order to go start buying buildings, and thinking about multiple buildings in high profile locations.
Yeah, that's and when it comes down to it, that's been a process and an evolution of thinking. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, not only could I have not imagined it before, I wouldn't even know how to, if you told me it was possible, I wouldn't even known how to attempt to attack it. To where I would say the evolution now coming full circle was, oh, Disneyland's closing and I just lost 90% of my reservations because of COVID-19. No problem. Time to put my entrepreneur hat and figure it out. And I'm glad to say that as of yesterday, it was the first time since March we were completely sold out across all 25 bedrooms. I just closed less than an hour ago. I closed a 90-day reservation. And 2 days ago, I booked 7 reservations, 3 of them booking same day and I believe 2 of those were for a month at a time, and the other 4 all checking in within the week.
That's cool. For those of you who can't translate that.
And to be clear, that the 90-day reservation that I just booked today, there was already somebody in that apartment that was there for a month, and he was negotiating with me to also expand his reservation by 90 days, and the one I just closed was at $400 more per month than he was willing to pay me. So now I'm just going to be able to move him into a different apartment at a higher rate because he can finally understand that he doesn't have negotiating power because I'm going to get the rooms booked regardless. Yeah,
this is good. I mean, I think this speaks to a number of the things that the people listening, they're like, okay, so how does this, work, with my job and all this other stuff. So with the people that you've been having appointments with on the phone, what have been some of the comments, concerns, thoughts, quirks, quandaries that you've been able to help them through?
So for one, definitely what I just talked about with regards to when there's downturns in the economy, right? So we're calling it COVID-19 right now. And some folks have been very hesitant about starting now because of that. And my position is comes from two directions. I think it's the best time to start. The first reason is because anytime you find yourself with an abundance of time, for whatever reason, because your job isn't keeping you as busy, because you got laid off from your job, that is the absolute perfect time to invest in yourself and learn something new. And with that new knowledge, to actually take action so that that new knowledge turns into money, so it turns into something tangible for you. The second is from the perspective of what's actually going to take place in the market. So what's going to happen, what you have in the short-term rental business is you have professional operators like ourselves at CashFlowDiary and our students, and you have an insane number of hobbyists. So this is anywhere from people who are renting out the extra bedroom in their house or the casita in the backyard to, hey, we got 4 or 5 up because we went onto YouTube and everywhere else to get a bunch of information from folks. And yeah, we can do this. And what they're finding is they really have no idea what they're doing. And they're not able to pay their rents. They're not able to keep their short-term rentals. They're either doing one of two things. They're either selling their short-term rentals at an insanely cheap price, or they're literally having to give their units back to the landlords. And so what's going to happen is, as the market starts to turn and you have a marketplace with professional operators in it, but with less rentals, you now have a higher demand. And anytime there's a higher demand, you can command a larger price. So the price that I have now, while it's about 35% off or 30% off of what I would normally charge because of COVID-19, I have every belief that once the economy begins to open and it comes to return, I'll probably be able to net about 10% more than I was before. And that's 10% more of over $80,000 a month. So
I'm sorry. They fainted at the number. It's all good. They're good. It's all good. Yes.
So, I would say that if you're hesitating because of the economy, because of the cost of the program, if it has anything to do with the financial aspect of it, I'd say look beyond that and look at the future and the possibility. Figure out a way to do it. Because if you're able to envision a different future for yourself than you have right now, and you're willing to work for it, and I'll tell us, you can talk to any student that's in the program. When you're willing to work for something, it's going to manifest itself. It just is. Yeah. There's literally nothing that can stop you if you're willing to put the work in. Follow the system, put the work in, you'll manifest whatever future you want for yourself.
I love it. I definitely appreciate, the fact that you fought through the different ways of thinking, whatever you learned in college, degrees, and then becoming a different person that now gives you the capacity to think on a completely different level, provide value on a completely different level. I'm curious, when you were able to go to London, I think it was, and
oh yeah,
yeah,
I've done so many awesome things since then. I forgot about that.
Yes, that. Tell us a little bit about what that was like as an experience as a short-term rental operator.
Yeah. Yeah. So a few things. Let's talk about getting there. Like, getting there was pretty crazy because I never traveled internationally. Well, I take that back. I live in Southern California, so of course I've been to Mexico. And my wife and I, we honeymooned to Canada, right? But I've never been outside of the continent. And my son's team, or the club, I should say, was open to all players, but the club was doing a tour of England. That's not cheap. And so, of course, we were like, okay, well, maybe we send my son, and he goes with the club, and there's adults there, and but I'm like, well, but I want to go to England. Like, they're going to go watch. They went and watched England versus Croatia at Wembley, which is amazing. That'd be like, I don't know, maybe like watching Team USA versus Spain in Barcelona. What was that, the 92 Olympics? Was it 92?
Oh, you're talking about the Dream Team. Yeah. Okay,
So
got it. Yes.
So it's big level, like England, Croatia at Wembley. Like that the noise is deafening, right? It's just super excited for us. If you like soccer or if you like sports, whatever your glory game is, just think of it that way, right? We got to go watch a Premier League game. Manchester City played Leicester United, and we basically drove all over the country, seeing all the big sites, all that stuff, right? So first was like, well, maybe we can get my son there and we'll figure it out. And then I was like, okay, well, but I want to go. I want to see these games. And of course, once I wanted to go, the whole family wanted to go. And I'm like, yeah, but being conservative, that's probably about 15 grand, or beyond that. Not being conservative, doing what we want, it's probably close to 20. How are we going to make that work? And what I found out was the business system in and of itself has an amazing number of tax advantages. And I went from owing the government, what was it? It was like, I want to say like I had like a tax bill the previous year of like 8 or 9 grand, something like that.
That's kind of what I remember
and
saying.
Because of the business and the full year of being in the business and all the associated costs, we were able to amend our previous year's taxes and do the current year taxes, and then got a $13,000 turnaround, or surplus, I should say. So whatever 18 plus or 13 plus 8 is. So basically $21,000 turnaround, and I netted 13,000. And so I was able to bring the whole family to England, which was amazing. Now, the other cool part about that is, at the time I didn't have all my systems set up, so I was still running like customer service and guest management and things like that. But I was doing that from England on my phone, on a bus, closing deals, checking guests in, replying to people when they needed a personal reply. Otherwise, my artificial intelligence messaging systems picked all that stuff up and auto replied and responded to questions and things like that. But I was able to go to England with my business running itself free of stress, which is just insane.
Yeah, I like that.
That's basically it.
I love it. Cool. Well, I'm glad that all of these things and so many great things have happened that you forgot about this amazing trip to London. That's amazing in and of itself, and that you've been able to do these things. So this is good. I definitely appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to wrap up here with the people, and I'm also going to share with them some of the things that we're going to be doing on Monday's call with the Roadmap students, so that they can get a call with you or Jeremy and get in here and make that happen, because I'm sure they want to know what that is too. Is there any last things you want to say before we go? Before I let you go?
Hurry up and join the program so you guys can be on Monday's call, because whatever Jay's going to talk about, I can promise you it's going to be awesome.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to do it right now.
For those of you who have already booked on my calendar, looking forward to talking to you guys. I think there's 3 of you that I'm going to be speaking to on Monday. Definitely looking forward to it. If you have outstanding questions, if I've tagged you in previous live streams, feel free to book a meeting with me. Otherwise, Jeremy is standing by, ready to help and assist. He's also a short-term rental operator, guys, so you can have similar stories to myself and very unique ones as well.
Indeed.
But that's it.
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much.
You.
All right, peoples. So here's what's going down. I see some questions in the chat, so I'm going to get that. Make sure you schedule it, cashflowdiary.com/2020 as in 2020. And then, long question. Hold on. So let's read this together. My daughter, Miriam, I'll get it right later. And I've been going through the class together. Oh, awesome. And she's very excited, but nervous because she is still a college student. Okay. She wanted to know if the roadmap will be something she can do alongside school once she returns back in university in the fall. Yeah. So, okay, got it. So you're concerned about being able to have time to do both. Yes. So let me be very clear. Not only is this something you can do alongside school, the reason the system is designed the way that it is because I was designing it with the intent of thinking about the person, the professional who was earning a multiple 6-figure salary at some sort of job, who only had like 3 to 4 hours on the weekend to actually do anything. That was my thought process. Now, I will also say this because, Mom, I've had this happen, and I don't want you mad at me, but I wanted the warning to be said. So is it Mom Leanne. I just want to be really clear. There have been times, especially with some of our college students, because we have some in that age range, where they suddenly decide to not go back to college just because, new possibilities emerge. So, so long as you're open to the possibility that might become a thing, because, hey, if you're doing 200 grand or so over here, and then you're looking at like, why am I studying this? Sometimes that has happened. Okay. I just want to be really clear about that. I don't want nobody upset at me later. Either way it goes, we can totally talk to you, walk you through it. It's not foreign to us. We've helped a number of people in that type of situation, and even busier for sure. So again, you just want to go ahead, go over to CashFlowDiary.com/2020. Or if you know, like, hey, this is for me, I got it, I'm in, CashFlowDiary.com/roadmap. And make sure you turn in your workbook, because you want to take advantage of the photographer and me interviewing your photographer, and the pictures for the first unit, and listing optimization, and getting your communication tools in place as well. So yeah, now bring it on. So looks like John is excited. Knowledge plus action. Yes, that's pretty much how we do it over here. Now, what I wanted to do is to let you guys in on a little something that's going to be happening on Monday's roadmap call. What does that look like? It looks like I need to click another link. There it is. So one of the things I do for fun, believe it or not, is actually continue reading research reports and finding out details around how certain things are working right now. Like, what is Hilton doing? And how are they managing in this new environment? Well, one of the many things that, and again, it's not a secret that there's a pandemic going on, is understanding the necessity of adapting and changing your cleaning systems, and specifically as they relate to COVID-19. So we're going to be examining a lot of the best practices that the people with all the money have been doing. Let them do the research. We duplicate what it is that they're doing for our protections. And one of the reasons I'm mentioning this specifically, I'm trying to mention this also as a warning for those of you who are in the more not yet ready for the professional level, and you think you're going to try it on your own. Understand that one of the challenges that you will be facing is either the potential for a frivolous lawsuit, or a lawsuit in general, as it relates to someone saying, hey, I got COVID-19 at your place. You got to make sure that certain things are in place to protect yourself from that. And a lot of that is what we're going to be talking about on Monday, because I want to make sure, again, everybody in the roadmap is going to be on top of it. And again, this is not something I could have pre-recorded. It's just something that is happening, because these are things that are coming in real time. That's the way the business works. It's a real time type of business. And therefore, we've built a mechanism that allows you to get feedback real time, that allows you to implement as we implement, that allows you to develop all of the resources to keep growing, to keep pushing, to keep raising capital, to keep expanding, to keep doing what it is that we do in a professional capacity. And that's what we get excited about, right? So at the end of the day, we're asking you to join us. 12-month program, 37 courses, all additional training from outside individuals who have expertise as well, so that you can become the complete entrepreneur you have always wanted to be. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you just now are joining us, you're going to want to get over to CashFlowDiary.com/2-day replays. We're going to leave the information up until, here we go, 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. So you've got the weekend, the balance of the weekend. You got a little holiday. And then Tuesday, midnight Pacific time, not Hawaii. It's all coming down. It'll be gone. You want to make sure, if you haven't already, go ahead and get started or book a call at CashFlowDiary.com/2020. Right? You can find the replays right here in the unit section as well. for those of you, and you want to go back all the way to the first session, because the homework, the assignments, the phone calls, the scripts of what to do, you want to get that stuff started, because you heard John and Wendy earlier, right? They're going to start you right where I left you. Understand, I've intentionally taken you through these sessions to get you started so that now you are ready to keep going, and they're just going to pick it up and you're just going to keep moving forward. That's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to do it together with you over the next 12 months, because step by step, we can get you there. You just got to be willing to keep walking, putting one foot in front of the other. Let me see. What is that? Oh, Leah, she's too invested in her degrees, but thanks for the, yes. I've just wanted to be, I've had parents, Leanne, the only reason I've learned to say that is because I've had parents get mad at me. Like, I would have never let my daughter know your name if blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry. I did not know. So again, I have no problem with her. I love the fact she likes her degrees. That's great. If this is going to be a thing, then, you can have $500,000 over here and $500,000 over here. That's fine. Do your thing. I've just learned to not have people get upset with me. I just tell them up front, because I could tell you some conversations. So at the end of the day, I'm so glad that you guys have taken the time to be here, because as you know, this is our joy. I enjoy this, right? Having had the privilege of, 7 years ago, calling myself retired, doing nothing because we'd done our own thing, that felt empty. And now I get to invest time into other individuals. I get to help individuals like Robert, like Jeremy, like John, like Wendy, like you, begin to live a different life. One that's closer to your values, one that's not dictated by somebody else's clock, desires, and dreams. And it feels like a privilege, to be honest. And that's exactly why we keep doing it. That's why we pour ourselves out on a Friday and Saturday and do all of these sessions so back to back in all the craziness, right? And you know what? At the end of the day, we believe very strongly that there's something you've learned, something that'll help you become just a little bit better. So you got a few more hours or whatnot, a few more days, I should say, to finish watching, to finish going over. Please get on the phone with Rob and Jeremy. Join us for the call on Monday, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You make $0 from a property you don't own. You make $0 from a unit you don't lease. And, well, you have an opportunity right now. The window is there. It's open. And as I said before, opportunity doesn't stop knocking. It keeps knocking until someone else answers the door. This time, let it be you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.